Wir sind zurück. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Muotathal, ladies and gentlemen. Day 2 of the ICF World Championships in kayak downriver racing. We're in the middle of Switzerland, geographically in the center of Switzerland, where this country as we have it today was founded about 720 years ago. The river Muota in the Muotathal valley, day 2, and after the classic event in the individual race yesterday, we've got the team, the kayaks and canoe team events today in the classic distance, and we'll have two more medal sets to give away this afternoon. We'll have the canoe single C1 women. They start in about 3 minutes at 2 o'clock Central European time. So that's one medal set, the C1 women, and excuse me, and then the second medal set, a very attractive event, the canoe double, the C2 men team classic. So that's the two medal sets this afternoon. We've had an exciting morning. We had exciting racing on a very spectacular river, very, very difficult and challenging river, and it was very, very tight racing, very hotly disputed, and just looking back through what the morning brought, we saw right before we broke up for lunch, we saw the men K1, and the first three teams were split by less than a second. So the new world champions in the men K1 class from France was Paul Graton, Jean-Paul and Maxence Barou, and they won that gold medal ahead of the Czech Republic and Germany, and all three teams was in less than 1 second. And it wasn't different to the other two classes that we've seen. We've seen 2 gold medals for the Czech Republic. First in the K1 women team, we had the Czechs led by the newly crowned individual world champion Martina Sarkoja. They took the win, and their teammates from the Czech Republic, they won the C1 team as well, led by the new world champion Ondrej Rolling. So this morning, 2 gold for the Czech Republic and 1 gold for France, and 2 more gold medals up for grabs this afternoon. We will start shortly, and we will fill you in. So currently waiting for the first class this afternoon, and while we do that, we welcome our technical advisor, our co-host in our studio, Matthias Staub. You were a member of the Swiss team, and maybe you just say a few things about your career and how your memories are around the Muota River. So this is Matthias Staub, former Swiss team paddler. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Jörg. Good to be here again after a lunch break. Still have a bit
a heavy stomach. Yes, yes.
So
digesting.
Just digesting a bit, but feeling comfortable here in this car. To say a few words about myself, I was paddling in the Swiss team in between 1998 and 2008. I was competing on 2 World Cups actually here on the Muota. One was held in 1998 when I was still a junior, and I was able to paddle here in the team, and finally I was coming back again in 2004 for the World Cup here on Muota. And I remember this place to be. Yeah, it was always a very good place to paddle on. We had not that much of national races, which were taking place here, but for World Cups it was always a good place to come.
And now we've just seen the pictures, and we've seen the safety kayaks, and we've seen the rescue teams. So a word on the difficulty of this river?
Yes, it's a very diverse river. You have sections with a lot of big waves, choppy waves, which are very interesting from a physical point of view. They make you really tired. You have to adapt to the rhythm of the waves. You have to change the rhythms a lot. And at the very end you find a passage with a lot of steepness, and it's a lot of technical skills you have to apply there. So you have the Muota stone, the very famous Muota stone, where you have to slow down a little bit because it's really in the current, in the middle of the current. So you're basically coming to this rock and you have to find a way around it.
And the challenging thing all about is that Muota rock, Muotastein as they call him in German, or they call it in German, I don't know if it's a male, but it's right at the end of this 4.4 kilometers.
Yes, exactly. So it's a minute before the finish line. It will be also in the section where the sprint races tomorrow will take place. So it's in this position of the race when your arms are feeling empty, and that makes it especially difficult.
And we've seen that this morning. It makes it very, very difficult to be precise on your line, because the line that those athletes take with their boats, they determine how fast you can actually go. So if you are then very, very tired, still be technically astute and very precise is very, very difficult. And we've seen that this morning. There was lots of errors, lots of mistakes, and big time losses in effect.
Yes, there were a lot of mistakes. We have seen very good teams struggling, and the team event, it's another thing that you have three boats. They come close together. You have to make sure that the boats are not hitting each other, but you don't want to bring too much gap in between the boats, because at the end this costs you some time when you bring in gaps before the finish line.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we saw two gold medals for the Czech Republic this morning, one gold medal for France. That was pretty much like it was scripted. They were the favorites in each of those classes. But then in second and third place, especially third position, there was a big fight. And looking at the start list this afternoon, that's probably something that we expect this afternoon. Hotly contested fight for the medals, but the gold medals, they seem to be favorites in both classes.
Yes, as we have seen this morning, the favorites at the end, they made it. That's true, but they didn't make it as clear as expected. So it's just a matter of time. Maybe we'll see a surprise this afternoon in the C2 team event. There are 6 persons together on the course. I think it's very challenging here down at Muotastein.
And very, very interesting what you said. You know, actually, in each of the classes, the favorite came through at the end, but it was very tight racing. And if we look at the K1 man, for instance, it was just the first 3 teams was in a second, so it was very tight racing. In the women class, we had 300ths of a second between bronze and the 4th place. So yes, the favorites came through, but it's very, very, very tight racing.
Absolutely. So the French, they were ahead just 700ths of a second as well for the gold medal. It was absolutely tight. It was high level paddling this morning.
Interesting. So that brings us to the race. We've got the first pictures here, the pictures of the C1 women team. So if we just look at the teams on the start list and talking favorites, then in this class, the C1 women, it is the Italian team that is the favorite. We look at Alice Panopto, her sister Cecilia Panopto, and Marlene Ricciardi. They all paddled in C1, and as well they paddle in the C2. So here the race is on. We've got the French team with Margot Bézia. She was 8th yesterday. Hélène Ragen, 4th yesterday. And Claire Ab, she couldn't race yesterday. So that'll be an interesting one. So the French team is off the start. Where does that start in relation to the finish line? We're obviously sitting here in the finish area. Where does that start? Could you describe that for our spectators at home?
So the start is around 4 kilometers away from the finish line. The start is interestingly not on the Muota itself. It's on a side current of the Muota, and you just enter the Muota 5 seconds after the start. So you're starting in quite calm water, and you make a right curve into. And
that's what we actually. Sorry to interrupt. That's what we actually see. This is a little side stream of the Muota River, calm waters, and you see the paddlers. They present themselves to the starter, orders, and then they run this little quiet piece of water.
Yes, exactly. For the team event, this is very helpful that we have such a start and such an opportunity for the start. So you see that on one board there are 2 canoers, and on the other one there is the third one. And we saw some tactical gains in the morning, that they normally don't put the fastest starter at the
yes,
front
if you hear,
now
yes,
you see the sprint, how they overtake each other.
So there's one boat on the far side of the bank, and she's closer to the current, and she seems to be the strongest of the team. She then overtakes the boat that presents himself or herself to the start.
Yes, exactly. So you normally put number 3 at the front, and then number 3 is just overtaken. So number 3 in terms of the weakest, let's say the
weakest link. Yes. Right, this is the Czech Republic with Martina Sarkoja. Very interesting. She's the world champion in the kayak class, so she is doubling up. She did the kayak yesterday. She's actually a double world champion. She won in the team event in the kayak. How difficult is it to then switch and go in C1 to double up?
Yeah, I cannot really comment too much on that. I was never paddling in a canoe. I was maybe doing it once or twice just for fun, but I don't have any experience on Wildwater. I have a certain feeling for it, that coming from a sitting position to a kneeling position is already changing a lot, and you have just one blade in your hand.
So for the spectator at home, we can say that's very difficult.
It's absolutely
very,
difficult.
very difficult. So what Martina Sarkoja does, coming from a K1 background, she's a double world champion, and now helping the team, the 2 team members, to win a 1 in the C1, a very, very difficult challenge. So we come back to that, and this is here actually the favorite, and we can see that one paddler is sitting on the right side in that slack water. She's a bit closer to the main current. That seems to be the fastest of the team, and she will take the lead as you described that. Yeah, she hits that current of the main Muota River first, and now it's them 3 together. So it's all about teamwork.
It's all about teamwork, but at the end the individual still has to paddle, but it's very important that the boats don't get too close, but they are close enough to feel the wave. You can save energy, especially in the beginning, where you have these stretches of choppy waves, and you can benefit from the person in front of you.
I just wanted to explore that a bit. How can they help each other? Can they?
They can help each other in terms of that every boat creates a wave behind the boat, and if you hit the wave in the right position, you're supported.
This is like drafting on the bike. This
Exactly.
is drafting. Yes. So you can surf in the wake of the boat ahead of you. That needs quite a bit of practice, I can imagine.
Absolutely. So you can practice such things just on lakes, that's one thing, but at the end you still have to feel these waves on the Wildwater. So obviously you have a lot of other waves there, and you have to really sit in the right position for feeling the benefit of the wave and not getting disturbed by this wave.
A very different challenge to the flat water, an application then in white water, and ride the wave, draft on the wave of the paddler in front of you. So this is all the C1 Women 2 teams on the course. We know from this morning it's about 13 minutes, 14 minutes for the C1 Women, so we're waiting just over 5 minutes until we will welcome those teams at the finish line. In the meantime, you get impressions of the second class this afternoon, and that's the double canoe.
Yes, exactly. We see the team of Slovakia at the start at the moment. We have 5 teams of
We have
doubles.
actually 6 teams.
We have 6
yes.
teams, sorry. And this is a very interesting race. So as I was saying, there are 3 boats, 2 persons in every boat, 6 persons racing together. That's a big team. That's more than half of a soccer team.
That's it. So it's a big, lots of athletes on the course together. The double canoe. So if you look into this class, the hot favorite is France. They did a classical clean sweep yesterday. Came first, second, and third. That seems to be very clear. The Czechs, the penultimate team. Again, we look at individual results. Seem to be very clear. And then Spain is in there. So they come as third last, so that means Spain could actually spoil the party and grab a medal here today, which would be the first.
Well, possible. On the other hand, we have the German team. They are always strong. They have always strong canoers. They have a boat where they have kayakers sitting in, persons who are normally paddling in the sitting position in the kayak. So it's a big surprise, or it would be a big surprise if this team would be in the top 3 at the end. But I don't know how well they are paddling in the C2. So this is
and it's tricky to know. This is actually the first big international event of the year, the World Championships. They had minor competitions, international competitions. They had national selections, all those federations. So this is really the first big test. So let's keep an eye on Spain. And one interesting fact is we have quite a mix. We have now in this category athletes that just paddle C2, and we've seen them in the C2 yesterday. We have paddlers, we've seen them in the kayak this morning, and we have paddlers, we've seen them in the C1 this morning. So it is possible to double up, it is possible to triple up, and to come in and take a seat in different boats.
Yes, this is allowed, so you can change the class. And at the moment we have a lot of paddlers who are able to do canoeing disciplines and kayaking disciplines on a very high level.
So for those who watch that for the first time, it's probably comparable to athletics, where you can do the 400 meter and the 800, or you can do the 5,000 and the 10K, and the Mo Farah does the marathon now. So very interesting. So you can double up, you can triple up, and if you can sort of physically respond to it and deal with it, then you could come away with 3 gold medals.
Yes, exactly. I think it's about saving the energy. Not every athlete will be able to compete on this level, having 2-3 races within 24 hours. That's very, very hard on this very demanding course. It's possible, and let's see what the Czech double world champion is doing.
Well said. And we might have a big new star on the scene this afternoon. Martina Sarkoja, who is leading the women C1 team. She won a gold yesterday in the individual event. She won gold in the team kayak event this morning, and now she's in the team C1 event. So at the end of the day, we could have a new star. We could have a new star, Martina Sarkoja of the Czech Republic, walking away tonight with 3 gold medals.
This would be a great story. So let's see what's happening in the next 10 minutes.
We will do, and on the men's side, very similar. We have Andrej Rolling, who is the world champion in the C1, and he won this morning in the team C1. And Andrej Rolling is coming in the C2 team event this afternoon. So Andrej could do what Martina Sarkoja is doing on the female side. He could do that for the male and show, well, actually, look, it's possible.
Yes, looks like the Czech have a very solid basis of physical work done, so they are able to compete in 3 disciplines on a very high level.
Talking about different disciplines, this is the start ramp for the kayak cross, an event that will see the Swiss Championships tomorrow. 4 kayaks together will be placed on that ramp, at the top of the ramp, and that will be the start, a jump into the Muota River, and then it is all about finding the fastest route down the wild Muota River, and whoever crosses the finish line first will win. So this here is the ramp of the kayak cross tomorrow. We're still waiting for the C1 women here at the finish line, and we have another C2 team here. That's the team from Italy with Rasauti, Urbani, Quintarelli, Maccanan and Bernard Dell'Agostino. So the 3 Italians off the start now. Quite a flat first section, about 150 meters before they hit the first big waves, and we're here just above the village of Muotathal, a village of about 3,500 people living there. It's a very big commune in terms of area, big piece of land, one of the 20 biggest of Switzerland, and you see sort of 200 meters off the start you hit those first waves, very relentless.
Yes, this section is very hard. It goes on a left first, and then you have a right. You hit a lot of big waves, and it's also difficult to find the line there. It's not very obvious. Sometimes the line is very obvious. You see stones, you have some landmarks for finding the orientation. In this stretch there, you need a lot of runs, and still you sometimes sit half a meter in the wrong position, not on the good line, and you notice it may be too late then.
And down here was us waiting, the members of the rescue team. We've seen a few paddlers getting into difficulties. We did not see many capsizing, but we have seen the other one capsizing and swimming. So this is the first team, Women C1, approaching the Muota Rock from France. Bézia, Margot, Hélène Ragen and Claire App. How are they doing, Matthias?
Very good so far. She hit a little bit the stopper here, but she stayed on the line. Boat number 3 is going through well as well.
This was the famous, that's the passage of the famous Muota Rock. Exactly. In the background, literally an obstacle in the middle of the river. The whole flow, 35 cumecs, onto that middle rock, and it's about avoiding a frontal collision with that Muota Stein or Muota Rock. So they've done it successfully, and it's about 200 meters from here to cross the finish line.
Yes, you can accelerate again, and it looks like it's flat there, but there's still a lot of choppy waves. You still need to be in the right position for the line there. Still tricky and physically very, very difficult.
And they successfully conquered that course in a time just under 15 minutes. It's about 14:50. It didn't stop. We'll bring you those times. About 14:50 as a benchmark for the French team. So that's France in the lead, and we're waiting for two more teams, and the first one of them is here. That's the team from the Czech Republic, with Martina Sarkoja leading that team. So the double world champion, but in the kayak class. She is racing here in the C1 and she is leading that team. So will she become a triple world champion? Sarkoja, we can't see her. She's already gone through.
She is struggling a bit. She's too much now on the left side. But she still managed to go through the waves quite well. But it was not the perfect line for this team.
Not the perfect line, but Nemchova and Poludova close to the finish line now. Getting the last out of their bodies, the last energy out of their arms. And on the finish line, waiting Martina Sarkoja. They have to cross the line. There's a rule within 10 seconds. That shouldn't be a problem. Let's see. That's them completing the course successfully. We'll deliver those times as soon as we have them. We have one more team to go, and that is the Italian trio with Alice Panopto, Cecilia Panopto and Marlene Ricciardi. On paper, they should be absolutely number one, but we've seen that in the past. That's just a paper, and the real race is happening not on paper but on the river, and so many mistakes are made.
Yes, I can just repeat myself again. We had some surprises in the morning, maybe not in terms of the ranking that much, but in just how far or how close those teams came together at the end.
Yes, the order of the ranking wasn't too much of a surprise, but the distances, it was very tight. So this is the Italian team, the final team here on the very wild and wet Muota River. The sisters Alice Panopto and Cecilia Panopto, they are the world champions in the C2. They won yesterday in the double class. And in the C1, in the single class, Cecilia, the younger one, she's only 16, she won gold in the single class yesterday. So the Italians against the Czechs and the French. Is it Italy? Is it France? Is it the Czech Republic? Women's C1 has been introduced into the program only just recently. So there are not that many countries at the moment currently doing it, but it's a growing class, very attractive, and what men can do, women can do, of course. So it's all about gender equity and paddling very, very well into second position, and history is made. History is made. Martina Sarkoja takes another title, triple world champion here in Muotathal. Martina Sarkoja, she leads the Czech team, second place Italy, third France. Sarkoja has shown it's possible.
Yeah, and maybe it's not the end. We have maybe 3 more medals which are waiting for her. So there's a lot of possibilities again tomorrow and on Sunday.
So that gives us an opportunity to talk about the upcoming weekend as we wait here now for the C2 event. As you said, on the weekend we will have the World Championships for the sprint event. This C2 now will conclude the classic event, which is a long distance race or middle distance race if you want. It's 4.4 kilometers, and the sprint on Saturday, Sunday will be held down here in the Canoe Arena, the ex-slalom arena, about 600 meters starting to 300 meters above the Muota, the Muota rock, finishing at the same place. So Saturday and Sunday we have the sprint events. It's the same athletes, more or less, and that's why you just said it would be possible that Martina Sarkoja adds another few gold medals and puts the tally up to 5 or 6 medals. So by Sunday night she could leave the Muotathal Valley with 2 handfuls of medals.
Yes, I think this would be very unprecedented. I don't know if she will compete again in the canoe event for the sprint, for the team event of the sprint, but I'm sure she will be a big favorite. She is a big favorite for the kayak individuals, and the Czech team is a big favorite as well.
In the team event, so that's Sarkoja. She definitely made history at the halfway stage of this competition. 3 gold medals in the bag. She will get them at the official medal ceremony tonight in the town centre of Muotathal. You've seen we have quite a few spectators, not as many as yesterday. We had a public holiday in Switzerland on Thursday. It was well received, the event, and the organisers, as we spoke to the organisers at lunchtime, and they expect quite a bit of a crowd. On Saturday and Sunday, the Swiss celebrate 2 medals as a host nation. The media, the papers and TV are pretty full of reports of coverage. So the organizer thinks they would get as many spectators in as they did in 1973 when the Worlds were here for the last time, and that was a big crowd. So it looks all set, and the weather seems to be set. It's a bit cloudy now this afternoon, no rain, ideal conditions on the Muota River. And the forecast for the weekend looks good, and we should have the same fair conditions throughout the weekend.
All right, so I can just invite everyone to come up tomorrow. Everyone who is able to come to Muotathal, you should really come and see live here at the bank of the river how difficult this river is really, and it's great sports. It's a perfect arena here.
Yes, you see the spectators here. Just come up here, join us. There is no entry fee. We talked to the organizer. There is parking. There are shuttle services. It is straightforward, very simple, and you come. It's for free, no entry. There is obviously food and drinks available. You're in pure nature. It's a nature stadium. So if you're close, the Muotathal is easy accessible. There is motorway right to Schwyz. It takes about 15 minutes. You're in there. Public transport easy. There are buses from the train station in Schwyz. So please, if you're listening here, you're watching, and you're close, please come. Make it family day out. There's lots to do, lots to be active apart from watching those races. So welcome to Muotathal in the center of Switzerland. So with those spectators here, we're waiting for the final class of today. We've seen them at the start. C2 teams, 6 of them. Where do they go from here? This is obviously very early in the season for those national teams. Do they have more races now this year, or is that them just finishing? Yes, I think they go to World Cups. Matthias, you're just nodding. You're not quite sure.
I don't know too much about the calendar. As you were mentioning, it's very early this year, but for Wildwater canoeing, actually, this is quite common because we still paddle on natural rivers. We are depending on the melting of the snow from the glaciers. It's the time of of the season where the important decisions are taking place.
Yes, it's a natural river, naturally fed. And as we speak, we have the first team at the Muota Rock from Italy. Rasuti Urbano, Quintarelli Maccanan and Bernard Dell'Agostino. How are they doing?
Good so far.
They all.
But the first boat is quite far ahead, so maybe there was a mistake in behind. We didn't see that on the screen. Here the line looks good as well for this boat.
So we see the backman has quite a bit of steering to do. So the backman is the one that steers, and the frontman is the engine, as they say in C2. And the third boat a little bit distant. The good thing is, when you have a bit of space, you can easily focus on your individual line.
That's true, but time is running until the last boat is in the finish zone.
So in the time for the Italians is just around 14 minutes. So that's the first. And as we said, we have the Spanish team. And we should see the Germans first, and then the Spanish. And we said there's probably quite a bit of a fight for bronze medal in between Spain and Germany. Looks like we're waiting for the Spanish team. Looking at the start list, we should have the Germans. So let's see if the Spanish already overtook the Germans. That would be quite a bit of a surprise. Let's wait and see the final 4 teams that we're waiting for, and those spectators that joined us on site. We're waiting for the last 4 teams deciding the medals in the C2 men team of the classic event at the ICF World Championships in Canoe Whitewater downriver. 23 nations have entered this event this year, and as Matthias said, this is only the first event, big event this year. They go on and have World Cups in the next few weeks, World Cup events. But having those events in May, June is quite logic, because that's when we have the snow melt in the Alps, in Pyrenees. So that's when these rivers flow naturally. And if we would set the dates for those events later in the year, there would be no water to paddle on.
Yes. Would be not really dry here, especially this summer. We have in Switzerland, we had a big winter, a lot of snow. We are expecting a lot of water until July, but it's not the regular case.
And we have the rescue team, Strömungsretter rescue team, well trained, especially for rescues in white water, in flowing water. So they're well trained for this occasion, but it's not as dramatic. Both days, yesterday and today, from the odd swimmer, and there was less than a handful that swam and had to leave the boats. They were all in very good hands. They were all safe, and all the equipment was safe as well. So this is the Spanish team. We don't know what happened to the Germans. This is the Spanish team with Miralles Padilla, Fidalgo Freire, y Jiménez Ramos Collado. And now we have a boat capsizing. Boat number 3 capsized at the Muota, and now plenty of work. You see the safety kayak over there has got one of the paddlers just behind the Muota rock, and the other paddler here in the flow, and the next team is just coming down the river. This is the team from the Czech Republic, so overtaking the team from Spain that capsized and is disqualified now. This is the team of the Czech Republic, so this is a team led by the Andrej Jolenk, the world champion in the C1. So it seems like they got through that little incident without any problem.
Yes, the Czech team, they showed us how C2 canoeing doubles is working on top level. No problem with the line. Everything worked out well. The boats stayed close and they're just on the finish now.
And that must be a new lead. The Czech Republic, always the same colored boats. 12 minutes 58, the new lead. Czech Republic first, Italy second. And unfortunately, the Spanish team is disqualified. One of their teams capsized at the Muota rock, and you just saw how difficult it is to avoid that rock and to get around it.
Yes, with the canoe, with the doubles canoe, it's even more difficult. The boat is longer than the kayak. 5 meters long, this boat. Very, very difficult place.
And we have one more boat to come at the moment. Andrej Jolenk from the Czech Republic is a 3-time gold medalist at halfway point of these World Championships, and it's only the French team that could spoil the party a little bit. So Andrej Jolenk, a gold in the individual and in the team in the C1, and on the way to gold in the C2. But these are the French. The time to beat, 12 minutes 58. Looking good, very composed down here. Looks like the easiest thing in the world.
Absolutely. Boats staying close, boats don't lose any speed. It's just getting to the finish now. I'm hitting the last waves.
And so this is actually number 1, 2 and 3. Clean sweep in the individual event. They're the favorite by a margin, and they easily hit the 12 minutes 58. So we have unofficially France gold, Czech Republic silver, and Italy bronze in the C2 men team event.
So now we have again a surprise. Italy is on the podium, and we were saying that it's maybe Germany. We haven't seen Germany, so yeah. Spain was having a lot of troubles. They had a capsize. So it's the second entry, the Italian boat, and they're on the podium.
Yeah, well spotted. We spoke about the French, obviously the Czech, and then we thought it is between Spain and Germany for bronze. But hey ho, you need to get to the finish line, and it seems those two teams didn't. We have seen the Spanish team capsizing just 300 meters from the finish line. We haven't seen the German. We don't know what happened there. We hope all is okay. And then we have the Italian team grabbing that bronze medal. So we have France, gold, silver for the Czech Republic, and we have a bronze for Italy. And history in the women class with Martina Sarkoja, 3 gold. Not quite 3 gold, but 2 gold and silver for Andrej Jolenk. So that's us from the second day. Thanks for joining us here on the Muota River. We are back tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, and we switch to sprint on the old slalom course. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye, and see you tomorrow. Thank you, and thank you, Matthias, for your support here in the commentary box.
Thank you, Jörg.